I'm a big fan of helping people, but don't penalise me if I put my hip into it and I stay longer than anyone else. I study longer, work harder, and do the work and win the medals. Don't penalise me. But that's not to say that I'm not going to help anyone else. So there seems to be this pull down and tall poppy syndrome, and even this Marxism, particularly emerging in this country. I mean, I hate to admit it, I never thought I'd say it, but it's evident today. There's a lot of, I mean, the Labor Party now in this state is 62% two-party preferred. I mean, and this state is in the worst possible shape in the history of the state, and it's still run. So, but that's a security thing. But in this country, you do have that. It's a Marxism, and it's a socialism problem. And I think that until you change that, it'll chew its own head off financially, and it will. It is now, and it'll continue to do so. I don't think it'll change. Even if you get a change of government, it takes a lot. It's like this inflation. I was always conscious when inflation hit in 2009. I remember when we got the word about Wuhan, 8th of December 2019. I had a Christmas party the week after that. I'd heard about it about a week after, and no one reacted to it. And then 8 months into it, this word inflation started to rear its head. And I heard Warren Buffett speak about it, and I thought, if he's speaking about it now, I need to investigate this, because it took 7 or 8 years to go away from 89 to the mid-90s. And now the economy's 10 times the size. And we're spending stuff on money on things, on consumption items we don't need. So that's what's happening there. So the problem's worse. The Robin Hood theory, but Robin Hood was a crook. People think of it as a fable, and it's a great, historical novel, but Robin Hood was a crook. He would steal from the rich and give to the poor, but the government's stealing from the rich. They're worse because they're stealing from the rich and not giving all to the poor. They're spending money on projects, I'd argue, in most cases, that we don't need. I mean, there's money on these tunnels and rail, and I think that really wasn't well thought through. Is it really necessary to go and spend that kind of money and blow out by 15 billion that's a serious amount of money, to blow it on one project where recovery, if I spend $100,000 and I've got 10 grand, I've got 10 years of recovery. So recovery now on the money on an M3 was 15 years recovery on cost when it was built, when it was approved. That grew out to 78 years in recovery. The tunnel was built on a 23-year recovery. So now it's 100. 100 years recovery. So when we talk about price earnings, if you buy $1 million of property and it's paying 50 grand in rent, you got a 20-year recovery. Let's say that rent's your state. We call it 20 times, right? It's a cap of 5. You got 100 times in the tunnel. Oh, and it's still not finished. There's your problem. And who pays for it? Well, let's get the rich. Well, the rich aren't going to tolerate it. The rich aren't just going to stay there and cop it on the chin. They're going to move. So it's sad because, I mean, Melbourne, one of the most liberal cities in the world, not so. A very good friend of mine who passed away, he was the mayor, Knox, and very clever, could have gone to actually higher office. And I'll never forget him saying to me, I must have been about 18, he said their budgets were immense. I used to say to him, I can't believe how good the roads are. I might have mentioned this last time, how good the roads are around these areas. He said, he said, we get an immense amount of budget. We need to spend the money year in, year out to maintain. If we don't spend it, we don't get it again. So, I mean, the roads in Melbourne right now, in Sydney as well, Queensland not so much, but roads in Melbourne are worse than I've ever seen. In the wealthiest areas, the people contributing most of the money are the worst possible roads. So we talk about redistribution, they're playing money like drunken croupiers. That's the problem. Projects is just, the projects now, the initiatives aren't required. There is better application for that capital, and I think that you'd have less angst. But when they see the way they're managing the money, it's adding fuel to the fire. The wealthy won't tolerate it. They're moving.
And with their super balances too.
Indeed.